Hi everybody, and welcome back to Minka Guides. This month we're talking about how you can start meditating even if you're not the meditating type of person. And I'm really happy today to have my lovely friend Lucy Cargill here with us. How are you doing today, Lucy?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. Now, Lucy, you're originally from Edinburgh in Scotland, but where in the world are you right now?
I'm in India right now, hence the Meditation 101 background with the dreamcatchers. So me and Bronwyn have been trying to do this call for a while. The internet has not been great. So we've taken this opportunity to just do it right now. So I'm in India. I've been out here for a couple of months studying
Nice.
breathwork and other forms of things. But yes, originally from Scotland, via London and New York for a while.
Exactly. And I'm recording this in Melbourne, Australia. And Australia, a lot like India, has been, deeply affected by colonization. So I just wanted to take a moment to acknowledge the traditional custodians of the land where I am right now, which are the Wurundjeri people, and to pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. So Lucy, to introduce you a little bit to everybody, you are a 38-year-old cis bi monogamous woman, and you are a transformational coach. You're a celebrant, you're a death doula, and as you said, you're a breathwork facilitator as well. So this is like an incredible array of skills and practices that you have. But if we jump back to about 12 years ago when we first met, we were both very different people back then, weren't we? We definitely weren't the meditating type of people at all.
Totally. So back in the London days when we were both working in film and moving and just surviving in London, I would say I used to party very hard. I still have that in me. But it's so funny you say 12 years. It's like, oh my God, 12 years. That's a long time.
Exactly. A really long time ago. But it's interesting that you bring up the partying, because I feel like that's something that maybe you and I were both using, like hard partying as a way to process perhaps like a lot of what we were feeling at the time. Like after a really big week of like not really knowing how to process those feelings and emotions that had been coming up for us during the week, we would go out and get really drunk and stay out all night and party and somehow use that as a way of releasing. But obviously that wasn't necessarily the most effective way.
Totally. It's this whole journey for me, if you want to call it a journey, has been about rediscovering who I really am. I would put it that way. So it's all of these parts of my personality and ways of being, which I don't regret at all. Like I think it's part of the path. But I think what I used to do a lot was not understand my emotions and not understand what I truly wanted or how I was truly feeling. So it's like putting on this mask, particularly with alcohol and partying. And I always thought that I was a huge extrovert. And even in those little personality tests, like back in the day, I would always come out as like an extrovert because of what I would put down. And actually now I feel like I'm a huge introvert. And that's part of even meditation, like getting to know your inner world, which I had no idea about. Nothing.
Yeah. Exactly. So how did that journey start for you? And like when abouts did that you start going on that path?
So it's when I moved to New York. I moved to New York in 2018, and I was a what they call high level fundraiser. The term high level is awful, but I was fundraising in New York City, which was some of the best times of my life. I absolutely loved it. This was 2018, and with that, with the pressure of New York, came this desire to just chill out a bit. I mean, it just relax. I had so much anxiety, and just I was partying a lot. New York truly is the city that never sleeps, and I found this little studio. I always thought meditation was a kind of religious thing or faith-based thing. And actually, I found this little studio called Mindful, which is MNDFL. So it was this trendy little studio in Williamsburg where I was living, and there was a couple of them dotted about New York. and they were giving meditation classes, and you could either sit for 30 minutes or 45 minutes. And a friend had told me about it, so I went along, started doing the odd little meditation, and kind of fell in love with it. It was like first it was extremely difficult, but that little half an hour that I was giving myself away from just the madness of New York and the energy of New York. And I ended up meeting more and more people. I started going more and more. They had one of those memberships where you could try and come every single day, and then you got you paid less, and so I was doing that. And then it really just grew from there. I started doing my own practice, and then they opened a meditation teacher training 6-month intensive. And I was like, I never went into it wanting to become a meditation teacher. I didn't think I would do that. It was more to deepen my own practice. And that was really the start of the kind of serious meditation, if you put it that way.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And so that's so interesting. So before New York, so before 2018, this wasn't something that was on your radar as a tool. This wasn't something that was like a focus for you. It just came at a time where you suddenly realized that you needed to do something different to kind of process things.
Totally. I wasn't aware of it. Not that I can remember. It's difficult to remember that, but I wasn't aware of it at all. Relaxing for me was always like going to the pub, just doing more stuff, like filling my life, being so busy, and being kind of addicted to the busy and doing constantly. And actually, when I first started meditating, I found it incredibly difficult, because sitting just doing nothing and trying to calm your mind is really difficult. And I'd be coming back out from work and being like, I can't, and your mind's going and you think that you can't do it. But before that, it was never something that that really was part of my life. But there's little bits that I realise now from when I was a child that were, whatever you want to call it, spiritual, depends on the words, the terminology you want to use, but I always carried this bag of specials around, which were little trinkets that I'd caught, and I used to kind of, I was praying on them, and I had them since I was little. I took them through my teenage years to every single exam. If I ever got on a flight, I used to be terrified of flying, and I've carried them with me my entire life. And I know now that I'm deep into this, that they're little tools, like little extra tools. I know it's slightly different from meditation, but these little like spiritual tools that was like, because I think as kids you kind of have a bit more of a truth of understanding of what's going on in the world until it gets
exactly. Yeah, it's because it's so interesting, because like I very much never saw myself as the meditating kind of person. I was just thought it was all this like hippie stuff. Do you know what I mean? That like I would just never like be able to access that. I wasn't even that kind of person that could access that, even though there's always been a little bit of a hippie in me, but it was something that people who did it seemed a lot more simultaneously grounded and then off on some other realm as well. And I was just kind of like, oh no, I'm far too in the present for this, or I'm just whatever things I used to make up for myself. And then it was during the pandemic, and a year previously, I'd just come out of like a 10-year relationship, and I'd gone through a lot of tumultuous change. But it was during the pandemic that I actually had it normalized to me as a daily practice by one of my housemates, who was just during the pandemic just meditating for like 10, 15, 20 minutes in the sunshine in our garden. And I was just kind of like just seeing that normalized to me in an everyday kind of way of like, oh, this is something that you can do. I suddenly found myself after a couple of months just sitting down and being like, okay, hello feelings. Okay, we're just going to do this now. I'm going to see like what comes up. And it was just really like, for me at first, it was just sitting with my feelings and just trying to like listen to myself so that I could somehow ride the waves of all these emotions and energy and events that were happening, both to like everyone in the world, but then also to me personally, and just try and feel my way through it. And that's how I somehow ended up doing a daily journaling and meditation practice over the last couple of years now, which I think I just saw on Insight Timer that I've just passed 500 days of meditation that I've done. And I was just like, oh my God, this is incredible, because this is not where I thought this was going, at all.
Congratulations, because 500 days is totally impressive. And I think like the more, I don't know how you feel, but the more you do it, the more it does genuinely become a habit. And
Yeah.
so I can't imagine my life without it. And my day, I meditate in the morning, and if I don't, my day is not set up as I would like it to be
Yes.
set up.
Exactly.
Generally,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. So what were some of the barriers that you found originally that stopped you from being able to have that daily meditation practice? What did you find getting in your way from doing that?
I'm laughing because I'm like all of the barriers. So I think a couple of big ones come to mind. So resistance to the fact that I don't have enough time. Particularly when
Yes.
I was in New York at the beginning, it was like I don't have enough time to do this. Like, and what I
Yeah.
realize now is because I didn't understand the value in it. So it was like I don't have enough time
Yes.
to do this. I've got work to do. I should be doing something else that's a lot more important than this.
Yeah.
And like I said before, I was completely addicted to being busy. And so it's like I'm very busy, important. I don't have time to sit down with myself. I've got things to do.
Yeah.
So I think frustration that I wasn't doing it right, that would come up as well. So like the physical
Yeah.
pain, sitting cross-legged, as I started to push out, I'd be like, this is painful. I couldn't even sit for 10 minutes. And then the frustration comes up that you're not doing it right. So it's like mean talk to yourself. And that we all have that little voice that can come up. It's like you're not doing it properly, so what's the point? Like I can't do
Yeah.
this. Like I can't meditate.
Yeah. How
And then
interesting.
yeah, it was crazy. And then comparison also came into this. So particularly because I learned in a little studio, we'd share our experience after, and there'd be people saying like, I see colors. It'd be like a little half an hour meditation. I see colors and all this like amazing magical cosmic downloads, and I was like, I saw fuck all, and I couldn't even cross my legs, and it's really painful.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and people are saying it's just peace and serenity, and I was like, I'm squirming, and it's awful. I don't feel like that.
But
So
that's
all of these things.
yeah, that's something that like I definitely feel like it's that at first it is a really difficult thing to do. It's only in time, given regular practice, that like your body is able to actually reach that kind of calmer state because you're doing it
Yeah,
every
yeah,
day. Whereas at first it's a huge struggle. So if you're out there and you're thinking about trying meditation, be aware that it takes a bit of a while to get into it and to not have that imposter syndrome and to actually, enjoy. And I've heard people say that like for the first kind of couple of weeks that they did it, they couldn't turn off that internal
yeah,
brain running kind of thing, that they would be like running through their list of how they're going to refurb their kitchen or what they needed to do. Do you know what I mean? Like that
yeah.
those kind of things happen. It just takes time and regular practice to then like quieten that down and be able to
Totally.
focus on your breath. Yeah.
Yeah, and just to add to that, it never becomes easy. I don't think.
Mm. Yeah.
And there's days like I'll sit down to meditate, and there's days the whole however long 45 minutes will have gone, and I'm like, oh my god, I just thought about this one thing that's been playing on my mind. So it's not.
Yes.
I think that's a real trap people fall into, that it has to be completely zen all the time. It evolves constantly, and
Yeah.
also the
Yeah.
part about being uncomfortable. Because I learned in a studio, it was slightly different for me because everyone was cross-legged, and I learned with quite experienced meditators. So that's where the
Yes.
comparison thing came in. But actually, sit on a chair. Like I've been teaching my
Mm.
dad how to meditate, and he's got two
Yeah.
bad knees. He can't
Yeah.
sit cross-legged. Doesn't mean you can't do it. So
Mm.
he's been sitting in a chair and being comfortable, and you can even lie down. So it's just all these little
Yeah.
things to not beat yourself up if it feels not
Yes.
great the first little while.
And yeah, exactly. And that there's not one way to do
Yes,
meditation, that you don't
totally,
have to somehow fit this type at all, that it's all about
totally.
finding your comfort and finding your relaxation point and being able to just like find that peace for however long.
Yes,
And I think this is the other thing, is that like in my brain, like I always was like, oh, people do this for like an hour a day or something like that. And it's like, it's really to set that regular practice up. It's really just about start with 5 minutes, just try and find those
totally.
5 minutes and try and then build towards 10 and kind of build it up. But also if you can only do 10 minutes a day, being able to do those 10 minutes a day makes a huge difference.
Totally. That's, if anyone was starting out, that's exactly what I would say. Just start.
Mm,
Start with
mm,
5 minutes. And that might feel like a lifetime anyway, because you're just starting. And everyone has different pressures and focuses, like, and there's
Yes.
certain times of day that you can't do. Just start. And there's also something about the commitment to yourself. If you say, I'm going to carve out this 5 minutes to myself, and then following through on that, it really builds trust in yourself that you're following through on your own habits, and then start to build it if it feels good.
Yeah, absolutely. So beforehand, I mentioned that like I use Insight Timer, which is an app for meditation. I also journal. So what kind of tools do you use as part of your daily practice?
Insight Timer is a wonderful resource. I still return to Insight Timer.
Yeah.
And because it's free and there's thousands of free meditations on there, it's really easy to get
Yes.
started, right? Like you'll have seen that, and you can search sleep and
Yeah,
manifestation or visualization, whatever you want. The only thing
exactly.
about it for beginners is I think it can be a little overwhelming because there's so much on there.
This is true. Yes.
And so there's a huge amount, but a nice way to do it is just search for 5-minute meditations if you want to be guided, because the other thing is you can just sit for 5 minutes and
Yes.
count
Yes.
your breath is a really nice way to do it. So like, see if you can just count like in for 5, out for 5, and just focus on your breath for 5 minutes. And that's the kind of self-leading.
Yeah.
But there's countless ways to meditate. There's like mantra based, there's visualizations, there's movement based, there's meditations across all different faiths and religions and non-secular, and I've tried lots of different kinds, and I would say the easiest way to start is by focusing on your breath, and then you can move into the more kind of visualizations or other ones that might be a bit
Yeah.
different. So if leading yourself
Yeah.
is too daunting at first, you can download Insight Timer. Another
Yeah.
amazing app is Waking Up
Mm.
by Sam
Oh,
Harris.
okay.
It's
Okay.
brilliant. Now, he's an American neuroscientist and philosopher. They've just got this amazing beginner's course where and then so they've got this amazing beginner's course, and then they do daily insights where he puts a new meditation up daily, and he only does it for 10 minutes or 20 minutes, and it's new every day, and he's absolutely brilliant, and I still use that one as well.
Wow.
Now
Amazing.
it appears quite expensive because I think it's $99 a year, but the
Right.
wonderful thing about it is Sam Harris desperately wants it to be easy access, so there is a way you can get it for free if you genuinely
Okay.
can't afford it. He doesn't want
Yeah.
money to be a
Yeah. Yeah.
barrier. So that's another one to really think about. It's based in sort of ancient teachings, but it's very, very secular and simple, and it's
Okay.
mindfulness essentially.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. How incredible. And do you
Yeah,
do anything else as part of your practice in the morning? Like, is there some other tools? So, as I said, I find journaling really good before I
yeah,
meditate because I get to acknowledge how I'm feeling and where my head's at and all of that instead of like
yeah.
sitting there and like letting myself think about all of it. I'm like writing it down, and I find that really helps. And just doing little things like that. So, is there anything else that you build as part of your practice as a daily each
Yeah.
day?
Again, I'm laughing because I'm very now very big into ritual. So
Mm.
my altar at home. It might sound a bit woo woo, but it's my altar at home is huge. I've got all my stuff on it, and meditating in front of things that mean something to me helps me connect. So whether it be
Yes.
crystals or statues or pictures of
Mhm.
deities or pictures of
Mhm.
friends and family, like past and present,
Mhm.
jewelry,
Yeah.
malabes, like I'm very big into that sort of stuff.
Mm.
And also if I often do this if right now I'm in nature, so it's okay. But like taking little bits from nature if you're stuck in the city, and just
Yeah.
it's nice to know that we're sort of connected with nature. Because for me, the process of meditation is about like really just getting back to oneness. We're all part of the same stuff,
Mm.
really. Um,
Mm.
and also I have lots of oracle decks and tarot decks and all the rest
Yeah.
of it. I journal as
Yes.
well.
Yeah.
But what I would say is that can feel, I mean, here's me sitting in, India, which is a deeply spiritual place. And there's, like dream catchers everywhere. And so that's very easy for me to say right now. because what I would
Yeah.
say is you don't need any of that stuff. Like all
Yes.
being said,
Yes.
it's you
Yeah.
can easily strip it all back. So it's whatever means something to you. I would say
Yeah.
invest in a good cushion if you want to properly sit. Or if you're sitting on a chair. Sorry, there's a little crying
Yes.
baby.
There is like a little bubba letting out their feelings in the background right now.
Yeah, I'm like, you go, you go. And I also do chanting, which is fairly new to me. I've learned that since I've been out in India. And so chanting to kind of clear different bits of chakras. But again, this is getting into it sounds a bit more woo-woo, if you like, whereas you don't need all this stuff. It's stuff that I'm
Yes.
kind of experimenting with just now.
Yeah. And also the thing that I really love about it is that it becomes a tool that you can use. Like I do a morning practice as well. I used to do a mid-morning practice. So you can do your meditation at the end of the day. You can do it before bedtime. Some people really love doing it as a way to wind down at the end of the day.
Yeah,
But like it's also become a tool that I can use when something crops up during the day as well. So say for example,
totally.
earlier this morning I had a a call that was a very emotional call. It was, and I came off that call and I was just like, oh, okay, I've got all these feelings, I've got all of this kind of coming up right now, and I know I'm not going to be able to settle my nervous system. So I sat down and I meditated for a good few minutes. So and that
Mm.
really helped as a way of just kind of like sitting with that all of that feeling where my nervous system was so activated afterwards, just to kind of
Yeah.
bring it down. And then I was like, oh, I'm so thankful that I have this tool that I can use. I'm just going to pause for a second. So we're just resuming after a little break so that let the little girl cry. But anyway,
Oh, baby.
I just wanted to ask you, Lucy, as it's the start of 2023, like, do you have any particular goals for your practices for during this year? Is there where is your practice leading you?
Oh, it's such a great question. Um, so I have been playing with, because I'm out in India for another couple of months, playing with the
Yeah.
idea of doing some tantra stuff, so more couple based
Mm.
things, which and
Yeah.
meditation is a hugely powerful tool for that.
Yeah.
And me and my partner are thinking about doing a tantra course here, and it's based in Buddhist practices.
Mm.
But yeah, and meditation can be amazing for couples work,
Mm.
actually. So
Okay.
I'd
Yeah.
really like to do
Yeah.
that. And interestingly, Insight Timer, I've just set up my own Insight Timer as a teacher.
Oh wow, that's
I set it up.
incredible.
I know. I set it up 2 weeks ago. I haven't actually posted anything yet, but I am going to be
Yeah.
offering meditations. So it's more kind of, I already hold circles and do some lunar cycle circles, new moon circles, and things like that. But
Mm.
I want to start offering more meditations with everything that I've learned. So watch this space for
Yes.
that.
Incredible.
And yeah.
Wonderful. And if people want to find you on Insight Timer and if they're already on there or they're just
Yeah.
joining, how can they find you on there?
I don't know yet. I'm going to be under, so my name. It'll be under my name
I
as
will,
Lucy
yes,
Cargill. Yeah,
yes. I will find the link and we'll pop it into
yeah.
the notes. And also generally where can people find you online? So you've got a website?
Yes, I've got a website, which is my name, lucycargill.com, and you can get in touch with me through there and on Instagram. So
Yes.
as Bronwyn said, I'm a celebrant as well as a coach. So that's generally where you can
Yes.
find me if you're interested in any of those services.
Yeah.
And actually, on the celebrant thing, I've been approached to do a wedding in August this year. And this
Okay.
is so interesting to me. The reason I'm bringing this in now is because
Hmm.
they would like me to bring meditation and kind of space holding into the ceremony, which has never really happened
Wow.
before.
That's
So
incredible.
there'll be
Yeah.
like breathwork, meditation, and holding space for like the different groups and the wedding parties as they move into the ceremony itself, which will be really
That
cool.
sounds
And I've
incredible.
also found
Yeah.
that I've done a couple of funerals this year, and my practice just so helped with keeping me. I lost a very dear friend at
Mm.
the end of last year, and
Mm-hmm.
I did his funeral. And
Yes.
just being able to meditate beforehand and actually during, focusing on my breath. There's this like box breathing
Yes.
technique when things
Yeah.
just get a bit much, like you said, um,
Mm.
has just been invaluable. So yeah, we'll see where it all
Yeah.
goes.
Exactly. That's incredible. And if people want to find you on Instagram, it's Lucy
Yeah.
underscore Cargill. Isn't that right? Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And
Cargill.
perfect. And there'll be links to all of this everywhere in on the blog and also on Instagram and YouTube. So wonderful. Thank you so much, Lucy. I really, really love
You.
being able to have this conversation with you.
I
And
know.
yeah, if anyone's out there and they're thinking about trying meditating this year, we really, really recommend like just trying to start it as a daily practice and seeing
Yeah,
what it can bring to your life. Yeah.
absolutely. It's invaluable. Thank you, darling.
Bye,
Love
beautiful.